Today, got questions. I'm going through a 15th century manual preserved in the Bavarian state in the Munich. It's a manuscript. Few people have noticed, so it's not a big deal. In these modern times, and they don't preserve this. It's not preserved. It's not treated seriously because it's one of these that shows that we're not taken seriously because we retain James Escher chronology. So it's our lateral, we retain something we shouldn't have, besides something that told us not to retain that over there. And because we didn't retain this over here, we have that over there. That is the simple corrective point to take a look at looking here. Forbidden rites consist of an edition of this medieval Latin text. So I'm not going to work from it in Latin. Rather, I'm going to work in it from medieval. We have to transition to English from Latin, Greek to English, do all of that. Keep it in English with the full commentary, keeping it in English, including detailed analysis of the text and content. So this author did that, but we have not yet done that. This is an exercise of what we will obtain by actually doing this for the first time in our lives. Discussion of the historical context, again, for the first purposed time. We're entering into what can we do with the Bible if we did not retain it correctly. Translation of representative sections of the text and comparison with necromantic texts of the late Middle Ages, kids. The result in the most vivid and readable introduction to medieval magic now available, such as us having a much better, clearer understanding how we did retain a 6,000-year-old earth legend, teach it, and not think that we were a necromantic facility using something with that capacity, saying things were going to happen that we were promising were going to happen in the future, pushing out to a Jewish mystic who is a phantom ghost of a lair. Jesus is a ghost of a lair. Jesus is a ghost of a lair. Jesus is a ghost of a lair. A legitimate, weird ghost of a lair for us to say here. Having this, like many medieval texts, the use of magicians, this handbook is a miscellany rather than a systematic treatise. It is exceptional, however, in the scope and variety of its contents. Here's where it becomes very important. Prayers and conjurations, rituals of sympathetic magic, procedures involving astral magic, which a catalog of spirits, lengthy ceremonies for consecrating a book of magic, and other materials. With more detail, in particular experiments than this famous 13th. It's not that famous. That all of this overhyping our magic, it's completely overhyped. There's no infamy or familiarity with this old book. It's just something that appeared and we don't know. But Catrix and a more variety than the Thesaurus Necromancer ascribed to Roger Bacon. We have another name we don't know what to do with. Roger Bacon ascribed. Everything's wrong, falsely ascribed, false authority. We obtain false authority through not understanding this. The manual is one of the most interesting and important manuals of medieval magic that has yet to come to light. That is a false statement, brothers and sisters. That is a 100% false statement. Let me grab my coffee. So this is part of that year 1666. The Bible went kaplat promise of we got to read this shit in wisdom, brothers. To be honest, this is the penultimate. The Bible went kaplat, and right here, We have this in all of our sermons, yet we don't understand where the sermonic personalities and capacities came from. In how does a president fit into the same positional state place as our pastor? Why does he get voted for? Why do we not vote for our pastors? Why do elders of the why do we not why does the Catholic Church continue to not vote for its leaders who aren't doing anything for them, but causing further and further debt? We need to take the decision-making process away from any religious organization that we're teaching the Bible correctly. By just making very simple, no, at this point in time, we're not teaching the Bible correctly. We're beginning to. We're just beginning to, as I'm reaching out to gotquestions.org. That's why it's actually going to take a full year to go through the 600,000 things we do have here to say this is where we kind of using information that we have that we didn't know we have, because we don't actually exist. We actually do not exist. With the question of, are we wrong? And if we refuse to say yes or no, we are wrong. So that's the subjectivity, and that's what I'm covering here, talking to us about it. We accepted a simple corrective. Now we're just being picked up out on to take a look at it. So, frequently asked, I don't want to, today is not my day to work with on the website here. Today is my day to work over here and say, okay, I have to look at Pennsylvania State University and talk to them. They let me go to the Pennsylvania State University Press and see if I can look at their catalog. I bet you they have Darwin. What do they have? What do they teach? What is their evolution? What is their theory of origin? That's what we're working on. The theory, the two broken, fractured theories of origin. One being the scientific theory of origin of apes growing up to become my granddaughter, and the second being the scientific theory of origin that we are unable to accept that the earth is not 6,000 years old, even though in my scientific manual, quote unquote, of origin by Darwin, I've got a reference in 1976 to James Escher. It says, up until 1859, practically the whole world believed in the James Escher chronology. But today, back then, it was practically the whole world believed in it. Better put, we knew about it and we used it and we taught it because it was that period of time, to be honest. The middle section of, we actually have a broken church system because it is still medieval, and it's still being medieval broken is why I am looking at no world history between the expulsion of Adam and Eve and us receiving a correction. No world history. I have nothing in between the two to say this is a religion, this is that. I have nothing in between, honestly. Aside from let's stand up and listen to me explain how nothing fit. So nothing fit, let me get into this. This is, I was reading this one online, the Forbidden Rites. Subject reviews. How do I, they're wanting money for it. I have read this online, so I'm not going to pay any money for it. It's not worth it. As of course, it's not worth it. You can see it on Google Books. You can get it. It's a neat one. But Forbidden right. See if this will give me some. That's another. Give me money for it. Of course, we're doing that. We need because it's demonic. The Munich Manual of Demonic Magic, which is let's put a negative name on something with the Sacred Seven, and teach it wrong. I'll go to Google Books and read their copy. I don't have full access to it on this, but I'll find the full access one. Here, this is looking for rights that unlock. This is an unlocking point of, okay, this is all we need to know. Everything occult. We didn't understand it. My opinion, having this weird little cult relationship of watch out for the other cults who are trying to infiltrate us and bring their cult pollution to us, and we got to push them away and not talk to them like the Jehovah's Witnesses, who in 1985 had with the Jewish Publication Society an updated book of Holy Scriptures. In 1985, when the Jewish Publication Society updated the Tanakh, kind of as they became familiar with the Dead Sea Scrolls, without saying these meant that, this meant that the Dead Sea Scrolls gave us no validity for us to teach it. Absolutely no validity. We're at that point. We Christians, we Catholics, we Jews, whoever we are, we have no authority to teach any verse in the Bible in the year 2020 without saying, well, it was broken. That's our only authority. Broken. Our only authority to teach the Bible is say, we broke it, we kept it, it's broken, and we repaired it. And thank you. And then we sat down and we said we were sorry, and we did our good deed of this millennium, and we began the millennial jubilee together, hand in hand, walking like little pet dogs of God. So I'm working for walking with little pet dogs with dog here. This is an incomplete. I'll find it online. I have it in somewhere. I was going to talk from this Goodreads book online PDF. That'll give me something, I'm pretty sure. Archive.org. Honor these guys in as much as honor these guys. They both wrote something, and oops, we kept something. The Internet Archive is a searchable thing, and I'm working in this 1666 paradigm where the year 1666 provided us all of the data that we needed, of course, that we didn't know we needed. And I found 1666 in this particular one. Of course, and I wanted to go into this book, though. That was there's my search this, zoom in, zoom out. Full text, I'll just do that because the full text is hard to work with because it's got all the gunk that says I don't exist. Let me find. This one shows up from the early years of Christianity. Whoever's with me, thank you. Conversion to Christ had meant, among other things, going away with books of magic. So here, this fits with what I was taught. We burn books, of course. The going away from the green of what that was into its black because we don't understand it. That's what it was. The scene at Ephesus is ascribed to the Acts of the Apostles, something miscalculated, understood even in this manual, perhaps epitomized what happened on a smaller scale elsewhere. which is, yeah, right here. When Paul arrived in the town and made converts to the new faith, a number of those who practiced magic arts brought their books together and burned them in the sight of all. So this is a tradition we forced, we encouraged on. So we burned it in the sight of all. So we erased a religion, a religious practice without being able to look at, well, why don't we know it? And other counted the value and found it came to the 50,000 pieces of silver. Brackets. This comes to roughly 1,666 times as many silver pieces as Judas received for betraying Christ. This kind of puts me at the end of the 1666 little narrative of, we have this over there, we have the King James Bible, we have the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, we have the Oscanta Wahito Bible, and we have this complete and total subtraction through to a bunch. I've got some stuff upstairs. It takes us to Aleister Crowley in the year 1666. Some other necromantic type people put together the shit we're all scared of, and wrongfully so, by the way, because our pastors and our preachers convinced, oh yeah, we think the earth is 6,000 years old, and we're proving it because we have somebody with some authority teaching that, and we need to say naughty. And the no more on that. No more on that or anything, because of the only thing we can do with the Bible is look at it and say, oh yeah, what's wrong with it if we don't understand the age of the earth of all things? We do not actually understand the age of the earth. We don't even know it. We don't even know it. 6,000 years ago, Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden. Happened. October 23, 4004 BC is the most precise date we have. We have a 6,000 year, nothing happened because we kept that, not recognizing that nothing happened, and we only built chaos and problems. Detailed examination of such a compilation may most obviously help us understand the mentality of the necromancers themselves who copied such books. And they got questions.org. We're in this little bucket, you guys with me, whether for curiosity, including the Bible, or for use to teaching it. I'm saying this is the stopping, the end of pulpit preaching. But study of this handbook may clarify several factors in the history of magic. Yeah, we don't have its history because it's magic. It's a black art. We don't have it. So we need to just say we don't know it and not teach it. Because we don't know it and not teach it, it's a legitimate don't even talk about it, please. Because the fact that we've told other people that these are wrong is why I have to go to these Neolithic communities that actually use this. The Neolithic communities in Europe that grew up that aren't Adam and Eve, the Neolithic communities in many of the African tribes where they are still living like that, where we have no Native Americans living in teepees anymore, of course, because we told them that we don't accept that. We told them that and made them shave their heads. So a book of magic is also a magical book. Was Moses a prophet? The Bible says he was a prophet. What is he in our leadership if we do not include what the Bible also says he did for us? Was he just the character, the name, the leader? 6,000 years ago into this really cool mosaic story of we have a contract and a covenant that we don't understand. The covenant we didn't understand. It's as simple. We didn't understand it. Joseph Smith, brother, sister, whoever's with me. We didn't understand this because it was also medieval. So, looking at the grandeur and audacity of what this became with Joseph Smith fiddling with it, is that he wrote little chapter headings and chapter section headings for the King James Version. If Jerusalem repent, she shall be preserved. If this future thing happens that was instructed to happen in the past happens because I helped her, they shall do this. Oops, I gotta accept my phone call. Catch up with you later. This is what today is about. It'll be boring. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, where'd my prayer book go? I just had it out. Okay, the